and then he passed the very next, like, that Sunday. So it just happened in that 4-day period, and really confusing. And then I didn't know, and it just kind of, to me, kind of felt like I got cheated out of it. I was very selfish about it, and I don't, you guys are there. You guys do a great job covering us, and I literally missed like 6, maybe 7 practices in a row. I wasn't even there, and just being able to get back out there and feel encouraged and loved and supported by, my Hoosier family, it meant the world.
Well, you're from the state of Indiana. How excited are you to start the season at Lucas Oil Stadium?
Man, I have some great memories at Lucas Oil Stadium. My senior year, we finished our year there after winning a state title, and I remember leaving that field. It was probably at that time the best moment of my life. So to be able to go back there, hopefully capture that same feeling, hopefully get a W, and finally get this Purdue loss off our backs and just get this season started. I'm really looking forward to it.
How have you seen Coach Allen kind of change? That was his 3rd season. How has he changed from when he first started as a head coach?
He hasn't changed in a whole lot of ways. He's always been passionate, he's always been fired up, and he's always been a player's first coach. That part hasn't changed, but what I'm noticing in the few times I did practice throughout spring ball, with him not calling the defense and him just being in offensive meetings instead of having to run defensive meetings, I think his presence, I don't know why this thing doesn't like me right now, but his just presence in a meeting room just changes the way younger guys especially experience like that meeting, how much they take away from it, how much it means to them. It just when the head man's there, like, the atmosphere just changes. And the defense has kind of been spoiled with that because he's been the defensive coordinator, but now he's not. The offense is kind of feeling his presence, so I think that's going to make a huge difference as well.
Coy, the question I've been asking some of the guys, the Madden ratings came out recently. I don't know if you want to name some top guys at some specific categories, but I have like top overall player, fastest player, strongest player. I guess what are your thoughts on who might be the top of those categories?
Yeah, as far as like in Madden and stuff, or like on our team.
Yeah.
Strongest, Simon for sure. Simon Stepniak. He's a freak. He's an absolute freak. Fastest, definitely not me, but I don't. Probably one of those cornerbacks. Those kids can fly. Probably Jalen Williams. I would say he can. Jay Will can run. What's the third one? I'm sorry.
Top overall.
Top overall. That's a good question. I would probably say Marcelino Ball because of his impact on special teams as well, on defense. I think it's hard to give it to someone who only plays one position. I mean, he plays safety, he plays linebacker. He's all over cover, all over the special teams, kicking teams, all that. So I think his versatility would probably put him there.
Where would you rate yourself in the 99 points system in those 3 categories?
Oh, man, I don't know. Strength, maybe like an 80.
Okay.
Speed, like a 60.
Sure.
Overall, like a 70. Something like that, right in the middle.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate. I got to go out there and have a good year.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Coy, is the overarching goal of making a postseason something you guys talk about in the locker room, or is it just, hey, let's go out there each game and play our best and see what happens?
It's something we talk about a lot, and it's something I wish we did not talk about, to be honest with you. It's not a secret when you won 5 games, you have 3 games left, and you need to win one, to go to a bowl game. And it's easy to lose track when you think that way, in my opinion. That's why I've been kind of taking the offensive line and refocusing us to like our day-to-day, what we can do to be better today, and then taking care of the little things today, and then hopefully tomorrow it'll create more opportunities. And then if you keep doing that over 7-8 months, then hopefully that will create wins on Saturday. But it's really tough, especially when you have a younger team who hasn't been to a bowl game. A lot of kids on the team haven't been, so they're excited, they want to do it, and then all of a sudden you lose a game that you thought it could make you bowl eligible, and then, ooh, man, how are we going to recover? Then that negative, thought process starts occurring. So I've been encouraging our guys to just take it day by day because it's college football and in the Big Ten. I think it's pretty safe to say anything can happen on any given day.
Coy, Lafayette guy, you mentioned Purdue 2 years in a row they've got you with
Yep.
bowl eligibility on the line. How personally are you going to take that game this year?
Yeah, it's always real personal for me, especially this year when it's in West Lafayette, because I feel like when I walked in there at my sophomore year when we played there, I felt like I knew half the stadium, because just it's those are my people, but Bloomington's my home, and I'm a proud Indiana Hoosier, but it's there's always a little bit more on the line. It's funny because we get Thanksgiving like day off, or depending on how it falls usually, but I always go home. And, I go to Thanksgiving, there's, we got our family there, like 30, 40 people, like over 3/4 of them are Purdue grads, and it's like, they don't want to say anything to offend me. I'm like, I'm not going to get offended. I understand you guys are fans. Like, it's all right. And then one of my best friends I played high school with, he's on the team there, Jackson Anthrop, and I see him every Thanksgiving. We go out, we'll, sit in the garage, talk or whatever, and it's always just, a little banter back and forth and that. But, as soon as I step on that field, or really off the bus and into the locker room, my mind definitely, starts racing. I start, I really want to win that ball game. I'm not saying I don't want to win the others, but that game, I feel like I got a lot to prove in that game.
That'll be your last regular season game.
Yeah.
As a college player.
Yeah, that'll be it.
Do you feel like it's part of your role in the team for the out-of-state guys to help them appreciate the rivalry?
Yeah, and obviously I try to talk about it and whatever, but it's amazing how some of the kids who are not even from Indiana, who just come here and play, how passionate they get about it. And I think that kind of speaks more because, like, well, yeah, dude, you're from Indiana. Like, what else is there to do in Indiana other than root for the Hoosiers and the Old Oaken? But, you kind of get some of that. But, like, some of the guys who are, from the South who come up here and they get a little taste for it. And then all of a sudden by their senior year, it's like, they're foaming at the mouth ready to roll. So I think that kind of speaks more volumes. But, yeah, I'm pretty vocal that week. And Coach Mark Deal, he does a legendary bowl game or Old Oaken Bucket preview the Monday of that week. It's pretty epic if you guys can get a hold of him.
Any of your family members, I would say any of your family members refused to pass the turkey or anything to you on Thanksgiving?
No, we've had since I've been in college, we've had Thanksgiving at our house and not my aunt's house. So like, I guess there's like a little power dynamic. If you're in our house, like, you got to be a little bit nice about it. But no, they do a good job. And like I say, I'm so proud of where I'm from and where I came from. But chose to be an Indiana Hoosier, and I'm not looking back on it.
But last year, Chicago Bears head coach Matt Nagy, in his first season, gained some popularity for throwing in some offensive linemen in goal line situations. Should give him some carries or some reception opportunities. Is that something you've approached Kalen DeBoer about, or are you sticking with blocking?
The spring game, my second spring game, I guess, after my sophomore year, we get like one trick play, and for whatever reason, our trick play was like I was lined up at like slot receiver, but like I was illegal formation, so I wasn't like allowed to catch a ball, so I was like a decoy, and like Peyton Ramsey like actually threw me the ball, and like I caught it, I made a move, made a guy miss, hit someone, ran him over, and then someone hit me, and then I just fumbled and the ball went everywhere. So I don't think it's in my future, but I'm open for it, absolutely.
Back to your grandfather for a second. Will you do anything this year, a memento, decal, or just for you personally, carry something with you during a game to remember him, or write his name on your cleats? Anything planned like that?
Yeah, I'll for sure do something to honor him. It's such a good relationship I had with him. That's just carried that in my heart every day. There's not a day I don't really think about him, but I know, I kind of know where he always sat, in Memorial Stadium. He always had the same tickets and stuff. So, probably running out there for the first time at our first actual home game, not at Lucas Oil. And I think that's going to be pretty emotional for me, just to see where he's at and not, him not going to be there. But, my man loved football. He loved playing football. He actually played Illinois back in the Butkus era. I mean, if you said anything bad about Dick Butkus around him, you're going to get fought immediately. Loved him. And, he helped also instill, there's the right way to play the game. And it's whistle to whistle. It's, full speed ahead. It's a no prisoner mentality out there, and I think that's what I'm gonna do on him.
What's the best gift he gave you, physical gift?
Physical gift he gave me. That's a good question. Some inappropriate things that I cannot share. It's a couple gag gifts, I would say, but I don't know. He gave me I don't know. After he passed away, he gave me some like a letter opening like a letter envelope, and it was like gold. And he's like, I don't know. I guess that was about it. Not too much.
You don't get a lot of mail these days.
No, I don't get a whole lot of mail, but that was about what I got.
I didn't know if you gave something,
No.
a trinket or anything like that.
Not really. No, that's not true. He gave me his rosary. Now that I think about it. Yeah, he gave me his rosary. I don't know why it didn't come to my mind first, but yeah, he gave me his rosary.
Coy, you're an O-line guy. I've asked a lot of skills guys from all the other teams out there, to recognize the offensive line. And so many, like Adrian from Nebraska said, thank goodness you asked me that, because these guys work hard. They don't get a lot of credit. I mean, they do the dirty work. They put the work in. What's it like to be an O-lineman, doing the hard work, preparation, and seeing the other guys succeed? But in the back of your mind, you're making those guys successful, and almost like a life skill that you're doing for them.
Yeah, I've always said it takes a special person to play on the offensive line. High maintenance guys usually don't make it offensive line. People who need the credit or need big old pat on their back usually don't make it either. And I think that makes it special, because it's the only position on the field where you have 5 people working in unison to make to accomplish a goal for someone else to take the credit for. That's the only thing in sports like it. And it takes a special human being to do it, and I take a lot of pride in that. There's no better feeling than when Stevie Scott rips off a 60-yard touchdown. I mean, that's euphoria. I love it. I love running down the field. I'm fist pumping. I'm getting after it. I like making the big block. I like doing that. I like freeing it up, and not a whole lot of people do. And I think that's why an offensive line is a special breed. But as far as skill guys like giving us recognition and stuff, thanks. But I like watching the film. I like when I pancake people. I like that to me is kind of the reward.
Coy, your personality drug me down here. I was watching, I was charging my camera over there, and you seem to enjoy life.
Yeah.
When I say your personality drug me here. We live in northern Indiana, and we haven't covered IU as much as some other schools just because it's a long drive for us. But the IU program has kind of not been at the top for the long time. What's it like rebuilding this program? When I talked to Coach, he talked about he wants his guys, and he's a very competitive guy when it comes to recruiting. And I mean, what's it like being there for the rebuild of IU and to build that tradition?
Yeah, it's we're not there yet by any means, but you see the progress, you see the way it's being built. And I always kind of say it takes a special person to play in Indiana. It's obviously a basketball school, and rightly so. We got unbelievable tradition there, and it takes a special person because it's a hard degree at Indiana. It's not a walk in the park. So you gotta get somebody who wants to get a degree. Then you gotta want someone who wants to absolutely change a culture and go from a place that hasn't won a whole lot, and there's some negative mentalities, and a lot of people don't believe you can do it. So you gotta want to change that. So it takes a special bird, to come to Indiana and try to change that culture. So I think Coach Allen's finding the right guys, but as far as this is my last chance at it, to rewrite history, to kind of change the narrative. And I know we got passionate fans. They come out in droves, but I want to give them a marquee win. Like our freshman year, we beat Michigan State when they were top 25 at home, and everyone rushed the field. It was packed. It was sold out, and that was an awesome experience. But we haven't been able to give our fans that experience. This will be 3 years now, and they deserve that. So, that's something I really want to do. I want to win our home games, especially.
One last question. You talked about, I heard you saying coming from a small school.
Yeah.
And I Googled you.
Yeah.
Lafayette.
Yeah.
What's it like being down at IU, coming home, the families, Lafayette, Purdue? What's that like, that rivalry for you? Because you're experiencing probably on both ends. Whether you're folks or whatever, whether you're Purdue fans or not, I mean, look, let's face it, it's, the place, West Lafayette for Purdue.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm in the middle of Purdue country. There's no sugarcoating that. And the people I'm around, they don't really give me too hard of a time about, losing back-to-back buckets or having the bucket. But, but it's there. you feel it. You get a lot more looks. But to me, I always feel like not like a celebrity or like a rock star, but I always like, every time I go into a restaurant or something, I see 10, 15 people I know, and I just make a conscious effort to go up to them and talk to them, because it kind of can be confusing, like, oh, why'd you go to Indiana? Like, people, especially earlier in my career, kind of felt like, why didn't you just stay home so everyone could watch you play every weekend, So I just kind of make it a conscious effort to go out of my way, to go talk to people, to just shake hands and look people in the eye, because I think it means a lot to them. And now in my senior year, I don't really get a whole lot of flack for it. I think people kind of understand where I'm coming from and understand me as who I am as a human being. So to be a part of a community that's so understanding and forgiving and all around supportive, I mean, a lot of people won't admit it to you, but unless we're playing Purdue, there's a lot of sneaky IU fans there in Lafayette now, and I appreciate that.
Coy, last question. You talk about academics. Academics at IU, second to none. I mean, I asked your teammates about the academics, that IU degree. What's it like for you, when you talk about it, it's tough academically at IU. I mean, what's it like going to get that degree from IU? And, I mean, moving on, because you're not going to play football the rest of your life.
Right.
And so what's that like?
It means a lot. I'm actually getting my degree in December, so that's a semester early. And I take a lot of pride in that. My mom's a principal for 25 years, so she's hammered me about, grades. And I remember my freshman year, my first semester, I was taking an astrology class for a general ed, degree type thing. And I had to graduate, and I dropped the class because I failed the first test. And my mom unleashed on me. So ever since then, I've kind of taken it a lot more seriously, and it means a lot. It's something they can't take away. Football's, hopefully I can have an NFL career like a Tom Brady and keep playing when I'm, 40, 42, 45 years old. That'd be awesome. It's not really that realistic, so it's a piece of paper, and that can take you a lot of places, especially with our alumni network. I mean, everywhere you go, there's an IU guy, so it means a whole lot. And I try to stress that to our younger kids who, sometimes their families or sometimes they personally just don't respect, school. They're there just for football. Well, not a lot of people make it to the NFL, and then not a lot of people have a second contract in the NFL where you get a lot of money. So stressing that, it's very important to me.
Speaking of the NFL, you guys have seen a lot of IU linemen go to the NFL. How much does that play into the attitude and the overall, focus and determination in that locker room, in the O-line room?
Yeah, the standard's there. It was there before I got there. Roger Saffold, obviously, he's just signed a third contract for a lot of money, and then, Jason and Dan, all these guys. So the standard was there when I walked into the room. So there is, I wouldn't say a pressure or a burden, but the expectation that I will uphold it, Bottom line of the day, I got to be able to look myself in the eyes and be like, hey, I did the best I could do. And then not only that's not what I can do, it's what I can do to help the other 4 offensive linemen out. And then after that, the 2 deep, and then the 3 deep.